Launder scammed money, using my name to do that.
The crime began last summer. Someone stole Mark Heiberg's identity and filed bogus paperwork to get a $28,000 pandemic disaster loan from the Small Business Administration. From there, the fraudster opened an account at Chase Bank under Heiberg's name and later opened another account with the stock trading platform Robinhood. Call it steal and conceal. Authorities say they're seeing more criminals committing this type of double-decker fraud. First, they steal the money from the government programs, and then they pump it into the investment accounts to hide the source of the funds and maybe even plus up their gains. Ultimately, they hope to turn it into hard-to-trace cash. But authorities say the victims are left with a huge headache.
And that's exactly what I'm trying to find out is what are they doing with these funds? What financial transactions are occurring under my name, under my Social Security number? It's been a pretty big ordeal.
A law enforcement source tells CNBC at least 4 investment platforms, Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, and E-Trade, are being targeted by criminals. And the money is coming from the government's Paycheck Protection Program and the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. Secret Service Assistant Special Agent in Charge Roy Dotson won't discuss specific companies, but he tells CNBC more than $100 million has been funneled into investment accounts. And he says the platforms are making it harder for law enforcement to trace the funds. Financial crime expert Charles Intriago explains the massive scale of the pandemic relief funding has created a frenzy of fraud.
I would call it the Financial Crime Bonanza Act of 2021 because it presents organized criminals and just even run-of-the-mill criminals with a golden opportunity to rip off millions and millions of dollars, enrich themselves, rather than that money going to the purposes that Congress lays out.
Detective Ricardo Pena of the Coral Springs Police Department in South Florida led the investigation into Mark Heiberg's case and is part of a federal anti-fraud task force. He explains that a new breed of criminals is simply doing what comes naturally. A lot of people that are doing these frauds are younger, he tells us. Platforms like Robinhood are just easier to push money in and out. For Heiberg, the worry is what other frauds could be going on in his name.
My good name means everything to me. I've worked my whole life. I've worked 31 years for the same company. I've got boys, I've got family. I want their names to be intact as well.
Shep, we reached out to all 4 investment platforms. Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, and Fidelity all say they have tough anti-fraud protocols for verifying information, and they confirm they have been working with law enforcement to combat what appears to be an industry-wide problem. E-Trade did not respond to our calls and emails, and Chase, where a fraudster opened an account, well, the bank says it flagged it as fraud and blocked a transfer of funds to Robinhood. Shep?
Eamon, how do the criminals get the money out of these fake identities and into their real pockets?
Yeah, that's the real challenge with this digital type of crime. What law enforcement is telling us is that the way they do that is ATM cards and also debit cards. The ATM cards don't work as well for the criminals. We got one photo from a law enforcement agency which showed an actual suspect trying to get an ATM withdrawal out. He had a mask on, sunglasses, a hoodie, but the camera was still there capturing him. The debit cards seem like they might be the better option for the criminals because they don't have as many cameras at the point of sale, Shep.
Interesting. Eamon Javers, thank you.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.